Hey folks, welcome back to West Texas. I finished after the last video. I just progressed through time, sold all the manure and slurry yesterday, clearing out the cows, so made a ton of money off of that, as you can see. And then this morning, got the cows fed, and so I've just updated the TLX pickup, and it's yeah, it looks a bit different. I guess we'll need to put that into the shop to get that sorted. That looks a bit different. It was not yellow and orange. We'll park that up in the shop for now and leave it there. Yeah, literally did that update just before I came on the game. I don't know if anything else. I updated the Phoenix. I'm not sure where I parked that. The Phoenix truck, not the pickup. Yeah, it was around here. It's still yellow. So there was a big update to the... There was an update to the pickup that I hadn't done, which I've just done, which has done that. And there was an update to this guy to add in a load more attachments for the back, which we might be using in the future because there's a bale loading one, which might be quite cool. But today we are going to tackle getting some digestate on to field 6. We're going to use the big Magnum for that. Just get the volume right on there. So the other thing that I want to do is pay back some of the loan, because I said we made a ton of money from the BGA and doing contracts, but obviously we used that to buy the new field. In fact, you can see the BGA income there, $1.8 million. I think that's because I had a few days worth of slurry that I hadn't sold. So I'm just going to mute the game sound while I do that, while I chat, because it's going to take a while to hit this button loads and loads of times. I'm going to be changing the format of these videos to more like I'm doing on Burgish Land. So we'll have an intro like this where I will chat for a bit and do some things, and we'll then go into a time lapse with commentary. I prefer doing that style of video. It works well for how I do things, and those Burgish Land videos seem to be going out quite well, whether that's just because it's a really interesting map and it appeals to you guys that watch my channel, or whether it's the format that people like because it's something a bit different rather than these kind of... They vary between half an hour and an hour long format videos, which end up having some time lapse and some montage in them anyway, but they don't get the commentary that I put on other videos. So yeah, planning to do that for these videos, and this will be the first one of those. So we're going to start off spreading the digestate, and then we'll skip into a time lapse. The other thing is that I spoke to some of the local farming whatever, and people are interested in my digestate, so they've set up a facility for me to be able to sell my digestate. That's all of the loan paid off, and we've still got $113,000 in the bank, so we now own our new field that we bought. I'll put sound back on now. So yeah, we have the option to sell digestate now, which is awesome because we're producing more than we can store or spread. So we're going to go quite heavy on digestate for this field. I actually need to check how much nitrogen sorghum needs, which is what's going to go into that field as a cash crop. The other thing that I'm considering with the digestate is a fertilizer production plant. So there's a fertilizer production plant that takes in digestate and diesel and turns that into solid fertilizer, which we can obviously use for our own fields, and we can sell and bring in some more cash, which would be cool. So I'm just going to pause for a second and go and check how much digestate we actually need to put on this field, and I will be back. So I just did a quick check of my farmer's almanac, and I think it's going to be the same as wheat. Basically, this map is not set up for precision farming by the looks of it, or I can't find the information in the files for how much nitrogen sorghum needs, which I think means it defaults to the same values as wheat. So that's what we're going to go for, which means we need at least 140 kilograms per hectare, which is what I'm going to shoot for with the digestate because we have so much of it. I might actually have to put this on the quad track. I forgot that the Magnum struggles a bit. So if we jump into precision farming and check our nitrogen map. So the potatoes don't need that much nitrogen. They only need about 100 kilograms per hectare. So I'm not worried that they also ignore over fertilization, which is cool because we inherited this field massively over fertilized. But I'm not worried about the little bit where it's missing. So field 6 is on 80. So we need to add about 60 kilograms of nitrogen with the digestate, which is probably not going to use that much actually. But that gets really close to having our fertilization done. And then we just need to progress time to when we can actually plant this or mow the grass, whichever comes first. I'm kind of hoping that it's mow the grass comes first because we need to clear off the field that we have cover crop in for the corn. So let's just stop there. We don't need to add that much. It says 60 in there. Right, let's get going. So for me, recording this, we are exactly 1 week away from FS22. By the time you watch it, we'll be 5 days away. I am excited, but not. New game means learning new stuff, which is interesting, but means I'll have to put a lot of time in a short period into learning how the new game works. Being a small YouTuber, I don't get the advanced access that the big guys are getting. So I'm assuming I will be massively behind the curve on people getting content out on the kind of how-tos and stuff, because even if they can't release them until the game is released, they can have them all produced. So that's a little bit annoying. That's maybe me being a little bit bitter as well, but you know, it's how I feel about it. It kind of deflated me a bit actually, but you know, tutorials that I do that you guys come to watch are much more about things like Maize Plus, and we're a way off of Terra Life yet, which is hopefully where I'll be getting some more views and subscribers and things. So yeah. Next week, FS22 day is also the day that my dad's operation now happens. I've spoken about that in a couple of videos. So it was delayed by 2 weeks due to problems at the hospital. So he will actually be having major surgery on next Monday. So I'm going to be at home on the Monday, and I'll probably be keeping myself distracted by playing FS22 when my copy arrives. But there's a chance that actually not a lot will come out from me in the first week while I'm at my parents' house, not at home, helping out with my dad's recovery. As I said, he is having 2 vertebrae replaced in his neck. So yeah, that's going to be a pretty serious operation and a pretty big time sink for me, and it also means I won't be able to record videos like this because I'll be at my parents and I won't have all the stuff set up. So yeah, there may not actually be any FS22 videos from me in the first week or so. Yeah, that's kind of playing on my mind a lot. Not the videos, the operation. I think I used that exact phase in another West Texas video. What else is going on? If you watched yesterday's video, I've said it on that, but I'm going to be on the Alien Pools stream hopefully tomorrow for you, on Thursday for me, tomorrow for you because you're watching this on Wednesday, maybe. If you're not watching it on the day it's released, then Thursday, or it was Thursday, depending on when you're watching this. So yeah, we're going to talk Terra Life and FS22 stuff, which will be cool. Looking forward to Terra Life a lot. Come on, come on. This is so heavy, this thing. I should put some dashboard on just so I can see how heavy it is when it's loaded. But the tractor really struggles. So plan is to do a few headlands at each end and then run the up-down rows. It looks like our digestate is going to last quite a long time. I've only used a quarter of it so far. I had planned to put a couple more solar panels in with the money that we had made, but I've just used it to clear off all that way. But hey, we're now short-term debt-free, so we can work towards getting some cool new stuff. The other job I meant to do was to sell the milk, which we might jump over to the farm and do before I switch to a time-lapse style video. I didn't do that off camera because I just wanted to show that how much money we're getting from selling milk. I am using the Animal Food Editions add-on for doing that, just because it makes it easier with the volume of milk that we're producing. A very dodgy cut was my front door going. I thought it was an Amazon delivery. It was some salesmen, so they got the door shut in their face. I don't know if I will have edited it out or whether the mic picked it up, but my dogs went absolutely nuts. I thought it was an Amazon parcel that I'd ordered, which is why I stopped, but it wasn't. Yeah, so we've got milk to sell. We can check while the tractor runs back. So yeah, we got between 45 and 50,000 litres in each of the 3 pens that are producing calves at the moment. So we'll go get that done actually. I'm not sure if we've got a little bit of dynamic mud on this map. Can't remember. So yeah, I've lost track of how long I've been recording this bit for now as well. So we'll actually just jump over and do that now. So I had left the tank for the TLX Phoenix in here, but I haven't really been using it. So yeah, we're going to get so we've got $102,000 worth, but it costs us $6,000 to sell, and we have 3 points we need to do that at, because each pen has its own milk tour. Ooh, looks like we've got more calves. We'll check that in a second. So, made a nice chunk of money off of that. $290,000. So if we can do that every couple of days, that's a nice chunk of income. But yeah, we've got pen 7. Okay, it's got its first 2 calves. Awesome, and they're females. Brilliant. I'm not going to bother selling 30 litres of milk, but that's brought us a nice chunk of cash in. And that actually might pay for those solar panels that I was thinking about. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to put 2 in. We can afford to. Awesome. Gives us a bit more regular income. So let's jump back in the Magnum and get back to spreading. Let's try and do a more sensible turn this time. I did start using a PS4 controller to play this series, and I should really go back to doing that. Maybe I will when I switch to FS22. I started using Sim Dashboard as well, and then stopped. Both of those partly to cut out, because I know that the noise of me hitting the keyboard comes through. That doesn't look right. No, it should be 14 meters. Oh, I know the noise of me hitting the keyboard quite often comes through on the mic because the mic sits in front of the keyboard. So, I have thought about getting a headset with a mic built in. My experience of those is the mics aren't very good, so I don't know. But because I was watching Mr. CDP and he uses a headset with a mic, but it's quite an expensive headset, so who knows what the future is going to bring for how I produce my videos. It's a nice setup. It is a nice setup. It's going to be very strange going to no mods for a while. I know I've spoken about it before, but some of my plans for FS22, I need to learn how to play the game like everyone else, obviously. I am planning to do 2 series. One will be on Elm Creek, which will be probably a fairly big farm, so it'll be a starting setup, maybe something like this, so that I can play with some of the cool new kit, learn how the animals work. So I'll probably have most of the animals on there just so we can experience how they work. And then I have another series planned, which will be on one of the other 2 maps. I've not decided which one yet. And what I'm considering having that as a very, very long running series. We'll see. I kind of like the idea of having a series that runs right the way through the life of the game. I'm not sure if that will work or not, but it's something that I'm toying with. The other thing is a bunch of tutorials on different things, some basics on some of the stuff that I've done before. So I want to do an FS22 version of the TMR video that I did, and say setting up like the TMR I have on here. That's going to be my substitute for not having Maze Plus for a while, probably. And then a bunch of other little tutorials. I might do some animal tutorials. I suspect people that are getting early access will have those out before I get around to it, and before I understand them enough to be comfortable doing a tutorial. Because I guess the thing is that I had played, for about 2 months before I started making videos. But the videos I started making didn't have things like animals in. So we'll see, but there'll be a mixture of tutorials and Let's Plays. I'm going to keep this series running on West Texas. At least run out this year on here, and we're going to keep Bergish Land going, because my plan for that, as I've said, is I'm expecting that map to come to FS22, and I'll then move that series across when it does, hopefully with at least Maze Plus, maybe Terra Life. The videos, the FS19 videos might slow down. I might go to 1 episode per series a week for a little while. I really don't know. I've never been through this before with the video game making videos, because the only other games that I've made videos for still exist as they were. So if you go way back on my channel, when I started this, I used to play a game called Battle Pirates, and I stopped playing that for many years, and I actually restarted playing it a little while ago, just to see what it was like. And that game basically hasn't changed in, I think I've been playing it 10 years. And things move forward, but the basics haven't changed. The other game that I made videos on was Stormworks, and again, that hasn't really changed massively. It's had a big update recently to bring weapons and stuff in, but otherwise the basic is the same. There's very little to relearn. Whereas I think with FS22 there's going to be a lot to learn. Anyway, I've probably rambled on enough, so we'll get into a time lapse now. I'll be back anyway, because I'll be doing a commentary, and I might have thought of some other things to chat about, so we'll get this field fertilised, which I don't think is going to take too long, so I'll have to see what else we're going to get done, but catch you a bit. Wow, I was cheery and positive during that. Listening back to that was, yeah, I was a bit of a whiny little something. Anyway, we are cracking on with getting this digestate spread. I started to skip rows just to make the turning easier, because turning this thing on the front of the Magnum is not fun. It's really heavy and it really pushes the tractor around. So, as you will have seen from the thumbnail, we are switching to the quad track, which is becoming my tractor of choice. You can't hear it, this thing sounds so good. I do love using this tractor, it works really well. So we're picking up our second load of digestate, and we've got quite a lot of the field done. We're probably not going to need much more than maybe another load. I don't think we're just going to have a load left over. So we are going to get around to selling some later in the episode. I keep saying, oh, it really bugs me when I listen back to my videos. But it is what it is. This field is going to be sorghum, as I probably said, and actually the next episode we're going to get that planted because we're going to get through a day and a bit on here today in not too much time, which is cool. It doesn't take that long to get this field fertilized with this kit. It's really nice bit of kit. I guess in between, I said it again, in between me recording and editing the first part of this video and recording this voiceover, Giants have released the information on AI workers. That looks really cool. It looks like we're basically getting auto drive as base game. It didn't speak anything about how field work might be changing, but you can now set workers to drive between locations. You can set workers to drive to a field and then use the implement that's attached to the tractor. Pretty much sounds like auto drive to me, which is really cool that it's base game. I was really expecting to miss auto drive. Now if we just find out that workers can do things like headlands on fields, then we're set. It'd be awesome. Having just got into using auto drive, having that feature base game effectively is really good. It'll be interesting to see how that works, particularly on modded maps, because it feels like they're going to have created road networks for them to use or to find roads and routes. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to having a play with that. We are done. We used 2 and a bit tanks for digestate. I'm going to leave the spreader here, head over, and I think we are going to sell the tanker we have at the moment that I'm using to sell flurry at the BGA. And we're going to buy some bigger ones because this one only holds 56,000 litres. So we're going to sell that. We're going to buy the 2 of these from RYC Modding. They hold 120,000 litres each. I'm not sure how many washing machines that is. If you watched the last video on here. And we brought a dolly as well. We're going to hook this up as a road train. And I think I do an okay job of reversing that. Let me know what you think. I find that I have 2 extensions on here, which mean we can hold 60,000 litres of digestate. For some reason, I couldn't access them. So what I ended up doing was changing the capacity of the extension to 10 litres and adding the extra in that we would have had into the BGA. So we've still got the same amount, it's just concentrated in the BGA now. I think that's fair enough. I'm assuming it's some sort of bug that means the BGA's digestate silo is not picking up those extensions. This is a really heavy load, and you can't see it because the community extension mod shows you the health of the thing that's selected. So I have one of the trailers selected. The truck is pretty beaten up and needs a repair. So I've got the 4-way flashes on because we're in the US, and we're rolling fairly slowly over to the digestate sell point, which has been put in down at this complex down here for us. And we'll see how much money we're going to make out of selling this stuff. I don't think it's going to be a huge amount, but gets rid of it for us, helps others out, makes us a little bit of money, I think. $32,000 per trailer load. Probably going to do another load just to clear off the backlog that we've got. I think we're going to produce digestate pretty quickly. I'm also fixing the TLX 3500, so spraying it in the right colour red. Getting the back sprayed, and then I'm going to sell off the NMC pallets because they seem to have got themselves really confused, and I decided not to use the meat processing plant anyway, which is all we had them for, so we're going to sell those off. And then I'm going to give the semi that we're using a service, give my semi a quick once over. Yes, I'm such a grown up. And then we'll head off back to the sell point. That's pretty much emptied our digestate supply, but we're going to be putting more manure and slurry through the BGA, so we'll quickly refill that. I think in total we've made about 125 grand, something like that. So quick little bit of me clearing the manure from the cattle pens in the evening. So this is how I've been doing it with the Magnum and the sub machine. Brain fade. Anyway, moving on, feeding the cows now. I don't think I've shown how I've been doing this, certainly for a very long time. That silo has a whole load of pre-mixed TMR that I've done through the winter. And then I just use one of these forage wagons to run feed out to all the cows. They all get TMR now. In fact, no, they don't. The one with calves in, they've got some hay bales, so they're just eating those for now. Yeah, takes a little while to get all the cows fed. The BGA paid out $350,000 overnight from the slurry and manure that we sold. Got a load of milk to sell again as well. And next episode we'll get straight into planting sorghum because the seasons are right, the temperature, soil temp is right, so we'll crack on with that while we wait for the grass to grow enough to be able to plant the corn. Yeah, thanks for watching, folks. I hope to see you next time. Hope my whinging wasn't too annoying, and I will catch you next time here on West Texas. In a minute, because I still seem to be going. Seem to be a little bit premature there, having serviced my semi. Anyway, one more pen to feed, so I will definitely catch you next time here on West Texas.